Hola.
Welcome, everyone, to the best sports betting show on the planet. I am Andy from WagerTalk. Welcome to WagerTalk Today, where the goal is very simple. We're trying to make our bankrolls just a little bit bigger today than they were yesterday. I see the chat is already rocking. Thank you so much to you guys. We've got an incredible show. Gianni's going to tell us where the sharp money's going. I got a great topic I want to talk to him about and pick his brain. Ralph Michaels is going to break down the Knicks and Celtics and the Padres and Yankees. Nick Borrman's going to join me. We're going to talk the Truist Championship. It's a week before a major. Sometimes these events are really, really bettable. Sometimes they're not. So we're going to talk to Nick. He's actually been to this course and played it. So we got some really good knowledge about the course. Steve Merrill's going to join us. We're going to break down Nuggets, Thunder, and the Reds and Braves. And then Art DiCesare is going to join us, and we're breaking out our new segment, Beat Art DiCesare. I can't wait for that. Art is ready. He's excited for the segment. So before we get to Gianni, just want to remind everybody, listen, we're not going to win every single day, and we're not going to pretend like we do. But what we are going to do is we're going to be transparent, and we're going to be consistent, and we're going to stick to the strategies that win long term. That is our big goal. We want to be profitable at the end of the year. That's how you turn your bankroll into a business. So appreciate everybody for joining us. Let's bring in Gianni. Gianni, these NBA road underdogs can't stop winning outright. It's really, really crazy. I don't remember a stretch like this in the NBA where these road underdogs are literally winning outright. They're not only covering the spread, they're just like winning outright. Like what is this doing to the markets, do you think?
Shout outs to Block, my man. Welcome to the show, brother. And listen, they're defying probability is what they're doing. Historically, this just doesn't happen. We have a decent sample size. Over 60 plus times has the road team won game one in this exact series of the NBA playoffs. And only 2 out of 10 times have they been able to leave up 2-0. And you saw Indiana do that yesterday. And tonight, both the Knicks and Denver have that opportunity to go up 2-0. Those teams that do go up 2-0 that are on the road, they almost never lose. It's rarely happened. I think it's only happened like 12, 13 times. And I think only twice have they not gone on to win the series. So a team like Cleveland's really behind the 8 ball right now. Both Boston and Oklahoma do not want to fall behind 2-0 because history says they will not be able to climb back out of that hole. But that's why you're being charged a premium tonight to back them. I mean, you're looking at double-digit spreads in both those games, and it's tempting the bettors to take the dog again. Why not? They continue to cash tickets even on the money line. So that's what we're seeing tonight, especially in the Thunder and Denver side. I thought it would be the other way around where one-sided Celtics money comes in, but that hasn't been the case. It's been pretty balanced. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they need Boston when this game goes off. But it's been the Nuggets that is getting the money from the recreational bettors. I did see Boston get bet at the opener in a couple of sharp accounts. But since then, I haven't seen any sharp money really get involved. It's sitting at 10.5 now. Like I said, most of the recreational bettors are grabbing that 10.5. So it may balance out the risk for the books. But in that late game, they're going to need the Oklahoma City side. That open 10, it's still sitting at 10. It went up to like 11.5. So again, immediately you see the sharps get out on that team down 1-0. They did it with Boston. They did it with Oklahoma City, but money came in opposite immediately after that. And this morning, exactly what happened yesterday. We talked about it with Cleveland, Indiana. As soon as that line came out, usually that's just the automatic handicapping move. Home team down 1-0, you bet them in game 2. And that's what they did. But as that line climbed yesterday and the injuries and not being 100% started being factored into the equation, you started seeing that dog money come in, even from sharp bettors. So I'm interested to see as the day goes on if we see sharp bettors take the points as well. Because again, their goal is to get out ahead of the market. They did that with Oklahoma City. They did that with Boston, but that line has since come back on the Oklahoma City side. Because like I said, the Denver money's starting to pour in from the betting public. So nothing really all that sharp. Again, it's going to be the public, I think, that forces the risk on the books in both these games. And it's been nothing but dogs, brother. Nothing but dogs.
Jenny Rakesh, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Cleveland to win series plus 165. Is that a good price? What's your opinion?
Excuse me? Sorry.
Oh, no, Cleveland to win the series, plus 165. Is that a good price?
Oh God, no. I have Cleveland on a future. And yeah, that's a waste of money. I'm so surprised that that's all that price is. I mean, I thought it would be a lot higher. It tells you just how good Cleveland is and how strong even their home court's supposed to be. But again, that just has not translated. And let me just give you the history really quick. I had to pull it up. I was right. Only 11 times in this quarterfinal round has the road team gone up 2-0. They've won the series 9 of 11 in all of the NBA playoffs. So from round one all the way to the finals, it's happened 35 times. So 35 times the road team started off 2-0. 30 out of 35, they went on to win the series. So 86% of the time. So even at about an 80% break even, you need plus 400 just to even consider it as far as history goes. Now, again, every series, every team is different, and you have to look at the individual matchups. But leaning on history, it does not look good for Cleveland at all. I would have to be getting at least plus 300 to consider it. And like I said, I'm biased with a future on Cleveland. I just don't see any value there at all. I think if anything, it's the opposite. The value is probably on Indiana. This is now a team that is confident. They're returning back home where they're 29-11 there. They flipped the script. Now they have the home court advantage. Again, Cleveland was a decent road team as well. Great road record. But you go down 0-2, history doesn't really favor you.
Yeah. Listen, guys, hit the like button. Gianni's giving you tons of really, really good information. You have two guys sitting here talking about this, that we do this for a living. Like we have our money tied up in all of these bets. Like we don't just come on here and talk the talk and not walk the walk. Like we are two guys that always have our money wrapped up in these plays. So appreciate all that, Gianni. Where else are you seeing some sharp and public money for today?
Florida in the NHL. We're looking at the NHL right now. And Florida down 1-0 at Toronto. And again, Toronto, a team that wins like Toronto did in game one, they usually come back and win in game two. 65% of the time, they win in game two. That's 144 game sample size. They're 19, 90, and 54 in this game two. And it's been like that in all the playoffs. So you look at the first round all the way to the Stanley Cup, it's exactly the same thing. 62% of the time, the team in Toronto's situation wins this game two. But sharps disagree. They came in on Florida, bet him at minus 125, bet him at minus 130, bet him at minus 135. So they are betting that Florida's able to even this series out. I was surprised, I'll be honest with you, only because Florida hasn't been the best road team in the NHL. In fact, they're one game over 500 this season in the NHL. So it's not like they have like this great road record. I think it's 1 or 2 games above 500 at the most. And Toronto hasn't had all that problems with them, at least over the last couple of times they played. But yeah, that's where the sharp money is as far as NHL goes. Nothing on Dallas and Winnipeg. Good two-way action there. In fact, Winnipeg's getting a little more money from the recreational bettors. I don't know if that's going to balance out by the time the game tips off. But the one thing that does stick out in both NHL games is the over. The bettors are betting the over blindly. So whether they're taking Toronto or Florida, whether they're taking Dallas or Winnipeg, they're parlaying it with the overs in both games. And usually that's a precursor of what's going to come with straight bets. If they're parlaying it early, that means later in the day, they're going to put their straight bets in. That's going to go to the overs as well. And we may see some undervalue. I was actually doing the blackjack feed yesterday, and you saw that Golden Knights from, I think, opening 5.5. It didn't last long. It was at 6, juiced to the over. Then it got to 6.5, juiced to the over. It kept getting hit over. But it was all public money. And about 30 minutes before the game started, every account that I have got hit with the under. Everybody bet that under at plus 120, plus 115, plus 110. So you're seeing a lot of the sharps, what they're doing, limits are high right now in the playoffs. If they don't need to be first, they could then sit back and wait for the public to knock some of these lines out of whack like they did with yesterday's NHL. So just because the line's moving doesn't mean it's sharp. Remember that. In the playoffs, especially where public money outweighs sharp money, a lot of times that's going to be the reason for the line move. It's not going to be steam. I see it all the time. Oh, I saw it yesterday. Oh, that over steamed, man. They over steamed the over 6, steaming the over 6.5. The over's a lock. And I didn't see a single account, any guy that I trade info with, not a single person that moves for NHL groups bet that over. It was all public money that forced that books to adjust off all that risk. And MLB real quickly, mostly sides, 954 Chicago, the Cubs, minus 120, 30, 35, 40. They just kept betting the Cubs all the way up to like minus 140. They took Atlanta as well at minus 110, then backed off. Same thing with Boston at minus 120, Baltimore at plus 120. And finally, this total, because it's opposite, bringing this one out because it looks as legit as possible. I'm seeing so much public money. This is the most one-sided total. They're betting the over. The public is the over in 974, Houston, Milwaukee. But multiple accounts, I'm seeing the under 8 in game 974 with Houston and Milwaukee. But like I said, that's one of the most one-sided bet public overs. So you have a sharp versus public discrepancy there in that total.
Nice. Everyone hit the like button. Gianni's giving us some really, really great information. I have a topic I want to give you. The thought process of not panicking when you're in the grind, as I call it. Here's what I mean. The last 7 days for clients, we're 22-17. You add the juice in there. We're within 1 unit of even. We're not up big. We're not down big. You're just grinding it out day after day after day. And I feel like people can get really antsy in this grind process where you just don't feel like you're going anywhere. What's it like when there's not a huge upswing, a huge downswing, when you're just kind of going through the motions and, okay, we're winning one, we're losing one, we win two, we lose one, we lose one, we win. Like, walk us through that process of not overextending, not panicking, not getting too antsy, not forcing things in this process.
It's that patience that you need. That's what separates the guy. Listen, not everybody's built to do this. It's no disrespect, but the majority of bettors should do it for entertainment. They shouldn't do it as a vehicle for investment. It's not a secret that 99.5% of sports bettors have negative lifetime earnings. Most just fall under that umbrella, and it's not even because they don't have the ability to win. Many are excellent handicappers. Many even have access to winning information. I bring myself up all the time as the perfect example for that, but they just don't have the discipline that it takes to do that kind of job. And unless you acquire that, it's going to be an uphill battle. In fact, you're probably not going to make a lot of money doing that because you have to be patient. Like, patience is one of those things where you got to let the games come to you. You got to let the plays come to you. I talk about that in blackjack. You could go in there being the most efficient card counter, but you may go through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shoes before you even get a positive count that reflects raising your bet. While next to you, you get the guy that comes up, buys in for $1,000, turns it into $5,000 in 15 minutes and walks away from the table. And you're sitting there like, dude, I'm sitting here grinding for 4 hours. I'm down $25. I tipped the waitress another $30. I'm down $50. I'm doing nothing. And these guys are walking up to the table with a couple $100 or even with thousands. You got to remember, those guys are not up doing that. I promise you, they are not up money doing that. So again, the best way that I could explain it is everything you do must reflect that of a winning bettor. It's just like a winning trader. If it doesn't, then you don't deserve to win. That's the realization I came to. I say it all the time in my steam room. Why don't I look like the guy on cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine? Because I don't deserve to. I don't eat like they do. I don't sleep like they do. I don't live like they do. I don't work out like they do. So what in my daily life do I do to make me deserve to look like the guy on the cover of Muscle and Fitness? It's the same thing. We know that only, people that look like that, it's 0.1% of the planet, right? It's the same thing with sports betting. 0.5% of bettors are going to be profitable. So what are you doing that reflects that 0.5%? If you're betting because you're impatient, if you're betting for action, if you're betting because the game is on TV, if you're over betting your bankroll and your risk of ruin is high, if you're doing all those things, taking bad numbers, not shopping for lines, that's all counterintuitive to what a winning bettor does. So what are you really trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Nothing in your actions reflect that of a winning sports bettor. So at the end of the day, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, am I doing what a winning sports bettor should be doing? Because anybody up here early in the morning, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, 12 in the afternoon on the East Coast, you already know what to do. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You know not to overbet. You know to shop for good lines. You know not to bet for action. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but you have to be the one that brushes those demons off every day. I have them too. I've been doing this 30 years. And every single day I have to brush those same demons off where, I'm just going back and forth 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, not making any money. Bills keep coming in. You can't approach it that way. Again, you have to decide why you're doing this. And if you treat it like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. But if you treat it like it's entertainment, it's going to cost you like entertainment, and be okay with that. There's nothing wrong with betting for entertainment. A lot of times you're going to make a score. But if you're truly betting as an investment vehicle and this is your business, your bankroll is your business, then you have to treat it that way. And just not enough bettors are doing that. We all talk it. I've been preaching this, Andy, for 20 years. I've only been practicing it for 10. That's
right.
A perfect example of that. I knew what to do 20, 30 years ago. I wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to acquire that discipline. And then I finally got to a point where I had to ask myself, are you built for this? Is this truly what you want to do? Because if it is, you need to change a lot of what you're doing, because your actions do not reflect that of a winning sports bettor. So you don't deserve to win. You're hoping you win. You're hoping to be the hope business is a losing business. You don't want to be in the hope business. You want to be in the certainty business. And to have certainty, you know what you got to do. You want to be in the hope business. Good luck. I hope you kick ass. I hope you make a score. I hope you become the most profitable bettor on the planet. But logic tells me that's probably not going to happen unless you're willing to put in that time. So sorry, not to go long, but that patience is with everything, Andy. It's not just patience to find action, but patience with your bankroll. Can you bet a minimum amount? Can you have $1,000 bankroll and only bet $10 a game? And when it gets to 2,000, now increase it. When it gets to 3,000, 5,000, 20,000, that's how you're going to get the big bankrolls. You're not going to get it, overnight. If you're rolling the dice and trying to make 10,000 out of your 1,000, chances are you're going to lose that 1,000. You have to know that going in. I say it all the time. I've seen these poker players that you now see playing the big cash games, playing the big tournaments. When I came to Vegas in 1996, 95, 96, they were at the Mirage grinding 1-3 no limit, 1-5 stud. Those same guys writing articles for Card Player Magazine for $25. That's what they were doing to get to that point. Unless you inherited a shitload of money or got lucky in life, it's not going to happen like that, bro. You're going to have to do it the right way. And most of you guys are a lot younger than me. You have time. You have the time to do it. That's more important than anything. Like you could start today. You could start today to not make the mistakes you made in the past, but it's on you. I can't do it for you.
Yeah. One of the guys I work with, Corbin, he does our tennis and our soccer. He's in his 20s and I'm so jealous. he's great. He's really, really good. He's got his whole life to build his bankroll up. I'm so jealous of that. We have some amazing comments here. Gianni, you are very, very well loved. We have to bring up Alex's. He says, I woke up today homeless and addicted to McDonald's. My wife left me and I was down bad. Now that I've seen Gianni, I bought a house. I'm not fat. I'm rich and my wife loves me.
That's it, bro.
Nice work,
if you don't mind, I'm going to use that as my new promotion. If you want your life to change, just buy a week of my picks. A week of my picks. You will have these teeth. You will drive my car. You will live in my house. You will have the life you wanted. All you have to do is follow me for a week. And the crazy thing is, that's what people are selling out there. I love the videos of the dudes showing their lifestyle. Like, dude, are you seriously, bro? Seriously?
Yeah, I know.
All I have to do is buy your picks and I'm going to live like you. Are you serious?
It's great. Nick also says that you would be a minus 350 favorite against me in a UFC fight. Gianni taps him out in 60 seconds. Probably.
Dude, I don't know. Age is is one of the things that I handicap most. And how old are you, Andy?
45.
Oh, bro, you're like in a 2-3. almost 65% of the time, you're going to take me out just with that 6-7 year advantage. So yeah, youth is huge. Youth is huge. I don't know. I may have reach. I don't know if I have reach.
You got the reach. Oh yeah.
Too,
I got T-Rex arms. There's no way I'm getting my jab there through to you. So, Gianni, this is great. Listen, Eric said, hey, can we talk about some games? Yeah. But listen, we have to be in the right mindset. We can have as many picks as we want. If we're not in the right mindset, we're going to screw it up. So, Gianni, thank you. Tell everyone what you have up at WagerTalk.
Pleasure's mine, brother. Pleasure's mine. And this is the boring stuff that no one wants to talk about. Everybody puts free pick videos, and that's great. And I hope those free picks changes people's lives. But this is really where you're going to make your money. That's where the gold is. 5% is up in the UFC. I'm coming off of losing 5%. Rare. And I don't just throw them out like for nothing. I especially coming off a loss, but I've isolated a really strong play in MMA for Saturday's pay-per-view card. I love those pay-per-view cards. It's kind of like a Super Bowl where so much more recreational money than the fight night cards. I also have a 4% in there. My baseball will be up within the hour, as well as NBA, NHL, coming off a nice night. If it wasn't for that one money line bet that I saw on multiple accounts, I should have left it alone. Otherwise, it would have been a phenomenal night. But feeling good. Things are good.
Great. Thank you so much, Gianni.
Thanks for having me,
I know we went a little long, guys, but it's worth it. Like, take notes. The stuff is free. Gianni's telling you how to get in the right mindset. So we've got some special promos. Guys, hit the like button, please. You guys smoked it. We got to 100 likes by the end of the show. Let's see if we can get there a little bit quicker. If you're enjoying all the information, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Really, really important. It helps us out. Also helps you out. You get notified when all of our shows go live, when all of our free pick videos go up. So make sure you do that. And we're promoting our flex deal. If you guys have not gotten flex plays, is a great way where you can change your handicapper each day. So we're doing a special buy 7 days, get 4 free. And this is $108 knocked off. So buy 7 days, get 4 free. That way, let's say I have a big like Friday, you can pick me. Then let's say on Saturday, Gianni has a big day. Then Nick Borrman has a big Sunday. You can switch your handicapper with this. So take advantage of that. It's the 7-11 flex deal. It's only $99. You get 7 days, and then you're going to get 4 added on for absolutely free. Really, really good tool. I'm pretty sure we're the only company offering something like this. So make sure you take advantage of that. My 30-day special is still up. I lost a $5 play last night on the hook. Had Aaron Nesmith over 4.5 rebounds. He ended with 4. Bummer. But all access clients cashed a tennis play earlier this morning. That was a tennis play that we talked about on yesterday's show. You're going to get all of these plays, including a lacrosse play that Dan's going to put up for us a little bit later. We're actually going to talk about that. But we always say, I don't know what the results are going to be on one night. 7 days, I like my chances. 30 days, if you give me and my team 30 days of your time and your business, I like our chances we're going to turn a profit for you. 15 out of the last 18 months, we have turned a profit. So you can use the promo code ANDY30, ANDY30, and it gets you 30 days for only $199. 15 out of the last 18 months, we've turned a profit. If you want to try me out, you want to try me and my team out, get 30 days. You give us a little bit longer period of time. I like our chances to come out. So promo code ANDY30. All right, let's bring in Ralph Michaels. We're going to talk Knicks and Celtics. We're going to talk a little baseball. And then Ralph has got something really, really cool. He's going to, got the pen, of course. We're going to talk a little football. But Ralph, first, let's talk Knicks and Celtics. Crazy game 1. What do you expect in game 2?
Andy, I want to jump back and talk about the flex for 1 second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Something that our customers may know. You just got done watching VR talking about his 5%. If you buy that flex package today, let's say you get me or you get Andy for Wednesday, you can go in advance, lock in VR's 5% now. You don't need to wait to Saturday to get the play. You get every Saturday play he releases immediately. So for football or the weekend cards, feel free as a flex customer to jump in and buy those packages early, and you will get those plays and the line value that we know Gianni is so astute at grabbing.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, the flex deal is really, really powerful. Knicks and Celtics, what do you think here, game 2 tonight?
I know you and VR talked about the crazy dogs covering and winning outright. I do want to say this. Yes, we had the Celtics lose, and yes, we had OKC lose, but don't think that's completely mirroring what the Cavs are. The Cavs were without Garland, Mobley, and a sixth man player. When you're missing 3 of your top 6 scorers, it's totally different than just bouncing back from a loss. I had to go to the database, so let's start off with some T&A. Playoff teams that lost as a home favorite of -7 or higher and are now a favorite again, 34-6 straight up, 30-10 against the spread, 75%. As VR talked about, that's why people were on the Cavs and the 2 teams today. But since 2020, those teams are actually 19-4, 83% the last 23 games, and that does include the Cavs' loss. So that situation clearly has me looking at Boston. Now, was their loss an anomaly? Absolutely. Boston will never miss 35 three-pointers again. Celtics shot 35.1%. The previous game against Orlando, they shot 56.6%. I look at the Celtics and I look at Celtics D. 42, 47, 41, 43, 37, and 42.5% so far in the playoffs. So when I think about the system we have, them off an embarrassing home loss, and again, remember, they held the Knicks to 42.5%. I add in that system playing off a loss, and I'm going to get to the Celtics for the first half. Why? Because the Knicks have clearly been a very poor first half team. They're 0-6 against the spread this season in the first half off a win as a dog. And just look at their 7 playoff games. The Knicks are 5-2 against the spread in 7 playoff games. First half line, they're only 2-5. The Celtics off an upset loss. First half, 8-3 against the spread. Full game, 6-4-1. So we have the Knicks much poorer in the first half. We have the Celtics numbers much better in the first half. And in that above system, with a team off a loss as a favorite of 7 or more, the average first half score, 55.5 to 49.1. That is plus 6.4 points per game. In the second half, that home team only plus 2.3 points per game. So the first half numbers over 4 points per game better than the second half. And one quick note I also want to share, when teams are off an overtime game in the playoffs, not including game 1, so the same teams are playing off an overtime game, I do want to point out that those teams have gone 40, 23, and 3 over under. So 63.5% of those teams, when they're off an overtime game, have gone over the total.
Love it. Rich has Ralph, I'm going to completely go in a different direction, but Rich has a question and we get it all the time. Can we check on getting picks texted out like years before? Sadly, there's a reason why we don't use this. We can't use the service anymore, right?
I'll tell you what, Johnny and I and a few other people, we're having an app call this afternoon. We expect that done within the next few weeks, where once you're an all access customer and you download it, the app will get you notified instantly when that play is released. So yes, we are right around the corner, and that will be up before football, guaranteed.
Okay, I'll do this. This is what I tell my customers when they ask, Ralph. Set up a Gmail that is specific to you. Your first name, your last name with the word WagerTalk@gmail.com. Don't use it for anything else except your plays. Install it on your phone, go into settings, and give it a notification that's unique to only that account. So now you have your own email account that is only for when picks get sent. And when it goes off on your phone, you know a pick has been sent. That's what I tell everybody. Just set up a Gmail that is completely separate. And do not tell anybody what it is. You don't want spam ending up there. But all of my clients do that, and it works out really, really well. So there's a little workaround. Let's talk a little baseball here, Ralph. Padres and Yankees. We got Cease for the Padres, Fried for the Yankees. My gosh, it's hard to be pitching better than Fried right now. He's a buzzsaw. How do you see this game going? We got the Yankees as a pretty big favorite.
Well, San Diego won game 1 of the series. That had given them 6 straight wins. They did lose yesterday 12-3, but it's sort of a misleading final, Andy. You look at the final yesterday and you go say 12-3 and you say the Yankees crushed them. Hits were 10-10. You don't find many games that a team wins by 9 when they're even on hits. On the season, though, the Padres have only been a dog 3 times of plus 140 or more. They've lost all 3 by a combined 15-5 total runs scored. And here's another misleading stat. The first one favored San Diego. This one actually is a fade on San Diego. If you look at the Padres since April 16th versus lefties, you're going to see they're 5-0. You're going to say, oh my God, I think there's value with the Padres. But they're only hitting 245, and they're only averaging 3.4 runs per game. So while looking at a record is important, looking at the numbers behind the record and evaluating that record, if it's a legitimate record or a misleading record, is very important when you're trying to find value. Also, another reason that San Diego might have a little value in this game, you look at the Padres, and Cease has a high ERA. Why? Well, back on April 8th, he allowed 9 runs versus the Athletics. When you're only 5, 6, or 7 games into a season, 5, 6, or 7 starts, and you had one blow-up game where you allowed 9 runs, that's going to hurt your ERA tremendously. You look at Cease over his last 4 starts, he's only gone 18 2/3 innings, so he's not going deep into the game, but he's only allowed 2 runs in each game. His career 5 starts against the Yankees, he does have a 6.39 ERA. Now, when I look at New York, are they worth backing as a 170 favorite? No, they're not. They're only 6-8 since April 21st. And with an average line of minus 164, that's a horrible record. It's minus 24.4% ROI. The Yankees, after they win a game, they've only won 1 of their last 7 games. That's right. The Yankees are 1-6 following a win. Yankees in game 3 of a series when it's tied 1-1, they're only 1-3 as well. Not a situation. Now, you brought it up. Mr. Cy Young Fried, a 1.10 ERA. I had to look it up this morning. I never really do bet Cy Young. Scooble's still the favorite. The Red Sox pitcher's number 2. He's still plus 500. That's not a horrible number for a guy who has a 1.01 ERA in 7 starts. And listen to his last 5 starts. 34 in a 3rd inning, only 19 hits, and only 3 runs. 3 runs in 34 and a 3rd innings. So with that said, I don't think there's enough value with San Diego. I don't want to lay 170 with the Yankees in the role they're in. So let's look at Fried and look at what he's done with pitching props and see if we can find some value. His K's prop for tonight is over under 5.5. Well, his last 4 games, he's had 6, 3, 2, and 7. So not enough for the over, not enough for the under. Hits, over under for Fried, 5.5. He's had 1, 5, 2, 5, and 5. In his last 5 starts, he has not allowed over 5 hits. We're going to circle his under on hits. His outs, over under 18.5. He's gone 21, 18, 23, and 20. So 3 of the 4, he's gone over 18.5. And I'll tell you what, his arm is in complete mid-season range. His last 6 games, his last 5 games, pitches 92, 101, 102, 94, 97. I'll go back one more game, 98. He's as strong as any pitcher. He goes into the card as deep as any. And walks, he's over 1.5. But in each of his last 4 games, he's allowed 2 walks. So I actually lean walks over for him. But my best bet here for the show, because I don't want to get to San Diego, I don't want to get to the Yankees, is going to be Fried. Hits, under 5.5 hits for my best bet.
I love it, Ralph. It's such a great way to attack this one. And hey, you talk props. You're speaking my language, so I'm all in on a good prop bet. Let's do a couple of quick little NFL stats. You have 85 days to the Hall of Fame game. Schedules are coming out, so let's get in the football mindset here because it's right around the corner. It's going to be here before you know it. Give us a couple of NFL tidbits.
Guys, every week here, I'm going to do a football T&A tip. This is tip number 1 for the 2025 season. The schedule gets released next Wednesday. We know lines are going to be out immediately. So how about writing down this for T&A tip number 1 of the 2025 season? Game number 1, division away favorites. We know there's going to be many division games scheduled game 1. Since 2009, they have gone 7-24 against the spread, only 22.6%. Game number 1, division away teams that are a pick or an underdog, 34-23, 59.6%. So it's a pretty easy tip. Look to fade division away favorites and look to play on NFL division away dogs. I'll have another football tip for you next week.
Love it. We have a special. You can get the early bird special, $777 for NFL and college. You can take advantage of Ralph Michaels. Follow him at Cal Sports. Great job, Ralph. Appreciate that. Unfortunately, Art DiCesare doesn't have internet, so we're going to let the guests go a little bit longer because I don't think we're going to have Art. But Dan and I are going to do some free plays. At the end, we had a request for a darts play. I'll get to that. I've got an NHL play you can look at, and Dan will talk lacrosse. But we got to bring in Nick Borrman. And we have to talk about the Truist Championship. Nick, this is kind of one of my favorite names. I just love Truist Championship. Like we talked, there's no lies. There's no lies there's no lying at this tournament. It's got to be the Truist Championship. So let's talk this course. You've been there. You know this course. So it's not often that we can say, hey, one of us has actually played at this course. So just give us like 20, 30 seconds. What's your take on this course? And then give us a long shot and another golfer of your choice to do well this week.
Yeah, full disclosure is if you want the full breakdown and a lot more information, check out Andy and I's tea time video we did yesterday. Nice little plug for us there, Andy. But yeah, quickly, Philadelphia. This course is in suburban Philadelphia. It's very small property. It's very much like Marion was in 2013 for the U.S. Open, and it plays very, very similar. It's not long, but it is tough off the tee. It's tight, but more importantly, the greens are brutal. They're runoffs everywhere. Bunker. There's 118 bunkers on the property. A lot of them are around those greens. They run off into there. And even when you do find the greens, Andy, it's so tiered and so undulating. Your targets might be 1/5 of the green size, right? So that's going to be the challenge around this place is approach shots and around the green. It's not, to me, and I think you agree, that driving probably not going to be a big factor this week.
Yeah, it's a second shot. Guys like Morikawa, I think those guys where their irons are dialed in, those are going to be the ones that get it to land. Like you said, that's not just closest to hole, but getting it on the right tier, give yourself a birdie chance. So, all right, give us a long shot. We always love these big payouts. Who's a guy at and it's, by the way, this is no cut event, guys, and it's kind of a smaller field. So keep that in mind. Everybody's going to play all 4 rounds. So what's your long shot, Nick?
There isn't one. Okay, that's the truth of this field. There is no such thing as a long shot in a field like this, and I will explain. Well
said.
So I wanted to show. I want to show a graphic to kind of further explain what I'm talking about. So we use this graphic in our show for tea time, and basically what this is it's the top 10 strokes gained over the last 12 months, right? And that's how it's ordered. So these 10 names you're seeing above the yellow notable line are those 10 players. Now, why this is notable and important to talk about is because this year alone, we've had 6 signature events plus the Masters, so 7 total situations. It's 7-0 that the winner has been in the top 10 in this graphic, okay? Wow. And that's not a fluke. If you look up at the green at the top, it says 28 of 40. 70% of the winners of the signatures, the majors, and the playoffs, so the biggest events, the best fields, have been ranked inside the top 10. 70% over the last 2.5 years. That goes back to the beginning of 23. So this is no fluke. So will there be a long shot? I don't think so. Listen, it's cute. It's fun. It's great. You want to bet the 100-to-1 guy to win? Sure, fine. Go put $5 on it. This is probably not the week to do it. The weeks to do that are the other weeks, the regular tour events. Those are the, they're hard to predict. They're more volatile, but history has shown these are not the events to do it. So with that in mind, I'm sticking into this graphic. And again, the sexy number isn't there, but Morikawa is who I'm looking at this week. And the reason I'm picking him out of this bunch is a couple things. First of all, let's talk about Scotty. He's not playing. Okay. Then you got Rory. We talked about Rory a little bit on our show. What is this tournament for Rory? To me, it's nothing. He's playing. It's a signature event. It's whatever. Yeah, agreed. It's all PGA Championship next week. It's Quail Hollow. He's won there 4 times. It's the Grand Slam in play. This is just a get ready for it. Listen, if he's there on the end of the day on Sunday and he's in contention, he's going to try to win. Yeah, he's going to try to win, but I don't think he's going to be focused and putting all the energy into it in those first couple rounds, like we saw at Augusta, where every shot was excruciatingly mentally exhausting for the guy. I don't think you're going to see that from him. So I'm throwing him out, and that leaves Morikawa to me as the next best guy. The other guy you look at is JT. He just won, and we know on the tour it's hard to win back-to-back starts. So like the top three guys that you might look at are kind of all of a sudden I'm ruling them out. So Morikawa. Now the player type that fits here, because we mentioned that maybe driving distance won't be that important here. That's Morikawa's weakness, right? He doesn't hit it far, but he's as good as it gets from tee to green. Good as it gets. His other weakness is putting. But generally, when you see a golf course, this is Philly Cricket Club. It's not a regular tour stop. In fact, this is the first time it's ever been held a tour event. New greens kind of levels the playing field. It actually helps the poor putter and weakens the good putter because they're not used to the surfaces. They don't know the nuances. They don't know. It's a learning curve for everybody. So in that context, I don't think his putter is necessarily a bad thing for him. So aside from that, I'm just going to talk about his consistency. Yes, he finished tied for 54th in his last start at the RBC Heritage, but he shot 77 on Saturday. If he simply shoots even par that day, it's another top 20. And once again, it's a top 20 because that's all he's done so far this year. That was his first non-top 20 finish of the season. So again, extremely consistent. If you know anything about him, that's what you know. He just is lacking the wins. I compare him to like Phil Mickelson. All right, not really, but the idea of Phil. How many wins would Phil Mickelson have had if he not played against Tiger Woods for his entire career?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Or Morikawa was playing against Rory and Scotty at their prime, and those guys are just a leap above everyone. I'm not saying that they've prevented Morikawa from winning every single time, but it's a factor that he probably has more wins if he doesn't quite have that deep those top two guys. But anyway, Scotty's not playing. Probably not a tournament for Rory. JT back-to-back. Morikawa's isn't consistent as again. I think his profile fits here. So he's only 14-1. I know you wanted sexier, Andy, but I just
we want winners.
I don't see. Yeah, thank you. I don't see.
We want the smart play. Yeah. Hey, can we pull up that graphic one more time? I want to go through some of the players that we like. I will tell you, I'm looking at first round props. I'm looking at the bogeys under. I think this course is going to give you a lot of birdies and a lot of pars. I like Russell Henley out of this group. I'm out on Matsuyama. Can't put it together. I don't know. What are some names that you think just people might be interested in betting? Who would you steer them towards?
I've been my eggs. Maybe it's a bad thing, but my eggs seem to be in one basket, and that basket is the plotters, as we like to call them, Andy. So you got Russell Henley, you got Corey Connors. These are guys that just don't miss. You got Morikawa in there. They don't hit it far, right? That's their weakness, but they're accurate. And then Sepp Straka. We didn't talk about him. We did talk about him on our show, but those four guys kind of fit that bill of they contend when the golf course isn't demanding and long. I think that works this week.
I love it. Nick, we're talking about golf, but out on the show, we want to point people in the direction of, hey, what's really, really working for clients and what's really, really winning. And soccer is what's working best for you. You've had a really, really great run of MLS. I think it's insane that we're not talking about it more. You're going for your 7th straight winning season in MLS. That is something to be really, really proud of. And I know you have a soccer special. If you want to profit off of Nick Borrman's pick, soccer is what's running the best. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, it is. We're going for 7 straight winning seasons this year in the MLS, and we are profitable so far this season. And soccer overall, so that would include, for me, it's Premier League, it's Champions League, it's occasionally the other top 5 leagues, and it's all international soccer and tournament soccer through the summertime too. So over the last 365 plus days now, it's a little bit more than a year. Yeah, up 23 units, so it's been a profitable last year. And to kind of piggyback on that, if you've never bet soccer before, it's hard to commit to a long, maybe a year. You haven't really done it before. So we're doing a 30-day special right now. It's $99. Every soccer play, MLS, like I said, it's the rest of the Premier League season and all of Europe season for that matter, because it ends basically at the end of May, the Champions League final, and then whatever international soccer is kicking off in early June. This summer, later in July, there's a lot of tournaments coming up. So that's where you could, we'll have another promo then. And we do have a 1-year promo going on for $4.99 if you do want to commit to a longer package. But if you've never done it before, just try the 30. I think you'll get used to it. I fell in love with it early on because, it's a different time frame. We're used to American sports being in the evening times, but this is in Europe. A lot of this is in Europe. You're going to see plays at 10 a.m. on a Saturday or 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. So it fills the void of wanting to get the next bet.
It works out great. Thank you so much, Nick. Congratulations on your success in soccer. Keep killing it
Thanks,
in
man.
that sport, brother. And yes, myself and Nick Borrman, Tea Time, that episode is up where we break down the event, give you some DraftKings darlings, players that could trip you up, a couple more outright winners. So good stuff over there. That show has come a long, long way. Really, really happy with that one. So, all right, let's bring on Steve Merril. We're going to talk a little MLB. We're going to talk some Nuggets and Thunder. And after that, we'll give out some free plays. Steve, you know the Paul Rudd meme, the look at us. Who would have thought? Who would have thought we're here? Not me. I'm kind of having that moment now. You and I got to wager talk at like the same time. Who would have thunk we would be here? It has been really, really fun doing the wager talk journey with you, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you like Tea Time, check out Life in the Fast Lane. We were getting up to 300 views a week, and we thought we were big stuff. It is funny. I mean, I've told this story before with you, Andy, of course, and I know you always crack up when I tell it, but like we have come full circle because the reason you and I both started on Wager Talk TV was because of the Prez, because he was so bad on the initial NASCAR show, and that is still available. We need to like pin that in the comments below so people can go watch that. I mean, he sat there literally and like bashed auto racing for 30 minutes. I think were you on with him in that first episode?
I was on with him. It was the very first time I'd ever met him. And he's
I didn't know that. That's even better.
And he's just ripping the sport that I love. And I'm supposed to be talking about winners. And he's like, this sport is stupid. They're just driving in a circle. And I'm like, that's a little more complicated than that.
No, but it's the best thing that ever happened because honestly, he calls me up because I know Johnny made him find somebody else. And he goes,
yes,
you know NASCAR. And it was during COVID. It was the only sport going. I was like, yeah, I love NASCAR. There's nothing else to do. And you, Andy Lang, Steve Merril, and Rocky Atkinson ran with it in the summer of 2020. And I look back on that now, and I don't get out of bed for 300 views, Andy Lang. But back then,
I know, right?
Man, it was fun.
Oh, we were loving it. It was so funny. All right, let's talk Nuggets and Thunder. Game 2, an insane game 1. I still can't believe the Thunder blew that one. How do you see game 2 going?
I know. What are the Thunder thinking? I mean, it's not like the Cavaliers, the Celtics. Oh, wait a second. They're all doing it, right? It's the first time ever that all 4 dogs, as we know, have won in game 1 of this round. And the thing is, has something changed or they're just outlier results? I think they're outlier results. You know, Ralph touched upon how the Cavaliers were without 3 of their top 6 players last night. They still had double-digit leads after the first 3 quarters. Your Indiana Pacers, for the second time this postseason, have overcome a 7-point deficit in the final 90 seconds of a game. And it only happened once in like the previous 380 playoff games over the last 20 years. But you look at these other games like the Celtics, the Cavs, the Thunder, they all had double-digit leads in the second half. They're still the 3 best teams in the NBA overall this season when healthy. So I don't think anything has changed. And I do look for Oklahoma City to get back on track here. I like them in this game tonight. And I think if they do so, it's going to be on the defensive end of the court. They were the most efficient defense in the league this year. And even with the stumble, they're still the most defensively efficient defense in the playoffs so far. So they're the best defense in the NBA, Class A team, best team overall record-wise, minus money to win the West when this round started. So, yes, I do think they bounce back here. There's lots of different ways we can play that. First of all, if I think they bring it with defensive intensity, I think the Nugget team total under 110 makes a lot of sense. So Nugget team total under. Like OKC minus the 10 as well. And also some player props. If I like the Nugget team total under, let's fade somebody on the Nuggets. And I'm always never lacking a hurry to fade Russell Westbrook. And I think we're going to get some good opportunity to do so going forward. I know you talk a lot about this, Andy. You know, we kind of find a guy you want to fade. You just kind of put it on autopilot for the next several games. I think that's going to work with Westbrook. His point total is around 12.5 here for this game. And that might seem strange because if you look at his last 4 playoff games, he's had 14 points or more in every one of them. He had 18 points against the Thunder in game 1, but it's misleading. He's not a good shooter. You look at the box score in that last game, 1 for 5 from 3-point range. He still got to 18 points because he took 13 shot attempts, hit 7 for 13. He's not a good outside shooter. They wanted him to take the 3. They're going to let him take the 3. I think Russell's getting a little cocky now. He'll keep taking the 3. He's going to keep missing. I think he will diminish as the series goes on, and it starts tonight. You look at the 2 March regular season meetings between these squads about a month and a half ago. Westbrook did have 16 in the final regular season meeting, but he was 3 for 5 and 6 for 10 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3. Can't shoot any better, only got to 16. And then, of course, the game right before that on March 9th, He had 4 points, 1 for 9 and 1 for 5 from 3. That's the Westbrook I expect going forward. So Russell Westbrook's a guy I think we can fade here in the near future.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on Porter Jr. If he looks hurt, I'm looking to take some live props under if it looks like his shoulder is acting up again. Because I mean, they stole game 1. You kind of got you got to wonder if this is a really good game to rest some of those guys after get out of Dodge with the split 1-1. So I'll be looking to live bet unders on Porter Jr. if he's stinking it up again. Let's talk a little MLB. Reds and Braves 2-1 game yesterday, went to extra innings. I just love Green for the Reds, who's pitching today. He cracks me up. Home runs and strikeouts, baby. He's pitched 7 games, 7 home runs, yet 55 strikeouts. This guy is just like all gas, no brakes. How do you see the Reds and Braves today?
Right. It's got like the 3-point shot in the NBA, right? You live by the 3, you die by the 3.
Yes.
It's the same thing in baseball. When you're striking guys out, you can have some really nice outings, but when they hit that fastball, it's going to travel. It's the same thing with knuckleball pitchers. It's feast or famine. But for the most part, Hunter Green is pretty reliable. And in fact, if you look at last year, he had a 2.75 ERA, and now this season, a 2.53 ERA. So, yeah, he's given up more home runs so far than he probably did last year pace-wise. He gave up 12 last season in 150 innings. He's already given up 7 in 42 innings. But if they don't hit it out of the park, man, they don't hit it anywhere because 55 strikeouts, 8 walks is an incredible strikeout walk ratio. I think that's a very underrated stat in baseball because if you're not putting guys on base with walks or giving up hits in general, he's only given up 27 hits in 42 and a half innings. Then when they hit those home runs, they're usually solos. They don't hurt you as much as you would think. So, yes, Hunter Green is a play-on pitcher for me. I like him tonight. The Braves lineup has also struggled against him. In fact, this current lineup is just 11 for 49. That's a 224 career batting average against Green. He's the real deal. And if you look at his overall metrics this year, he had that one bad outing against Baltimore 3 starts ago, but he's bounced back, giving up just 4 earned runs in 12 innings the last 2 starts. He had 2 shutout starts right before that bad outing when he went over 15 innings, gave up no runs. So he's really been on in basically 5 of his last 6 outings, and I think he's on again tonight. So nice opportunity to take one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball here and get him as an underdog price, currently about plus 105 in most locations. So better pitcher, underrated pitcher at an underdog price. Take a look at the Reds tonight. That goes at 7:15 Eastern on Wednesday.
Great breakdown, Steve. Absolutely love it. Tell clients what are you running good in? How's everything been the last couple months with you? And what do you have to promote?
Yeah, we're heating up. We finished April on almost a 70% all sports run as we head into May. And it's not a coincidence. If you remember last year, this is exactly when we went on a monster run in the NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball all summer. In fact, my clients had already doubled their bankroll by the end of August last summer, up over 100 units by the end of August. We're looking to do it again this summer, and I've got my strongest NBA play this season going tonight. And it's not an understatement. I have not released a 5% best bet in the NBA all season until tonight. In fact, it's the first time I've only had one in the past 561 days, and it was an 18-point blowout winner, and the first one this season goes tonight. Check it out right now on my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. You can get the single NBA play, the 5%er, or if you're serious about making money, I highly recommend a direct subscription, whether it's a 1 week, a 1 month, or the 1 year. And if it's the 1 year, use promo code SM365 for an instant $811 discount. That gets it down to just over $1 a play. So if you want that 5%er for about $1 a play, the 1 year all access with promo code SM365 gets it done. And this is a great time of year to get on board. So check it out, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM.
Thank you, Steve. Man, I hope you have another great MLB season. That was a blast, man. That was so cool to watch you just crush MLB. Scott's got a quick question for you before I let you go. It says, Steve, since you like the pitching matchup, do you also like first 5 possibly, or are you just comfortable with the full game?
Oh, definitely don't disagree. I mean, first 5 is a nice way to play the starters more. And I even saw somebody, Andy, comment in one of my videos the other day, and you're more of a prop guy than me. You could take these guys to get a win at some sports book. And that's going to be even more than plus 105. So that's another way you could probably play Green to have a good outing.
Love it. Love it. Thanks, Steve. Can't wait to do more spots with you, man. It's always fun. All right, guys. So we didn't have Art DiCesare. He didn't have any internet. Let's bring in Dan. Let's rip through a couple of free plays here real quick. You guys crushed on the like button. I really, really appreciate it. Yes, we did it. We did it. Someone asked 100. For a darlay, which if you don't know what a darlay is, it's a darts parlay. And as Prez coined the phrase,
that's why Prez lives on. Prez was for anything you want to say about Prez, the man could come up with a great slogan here and there, right?
He called them dartists instead of athletes, which is just
Beautiful.
great. So here's the darlay for the day. Go to your alt totals. Rob Cross versus Gerwin Price over 8.5 legs, and parlay that with Michael Van Gerwen versus Luke Humphreys over 8.5 legs. That gets you to -130. I also like Doby over Stephen Bunting. That's even money. I would go to Austin Matthews under 3.5 shots on goal. He had 5 shots on goal last game. Dan, he had 2 shots on goal in the last 4 seconds of the first period. That was a client play. That was brutal to watch. But it's been over a month. Yeah, it's been over a month since he's gone back-to-back games with going over 3.5. So he went over last game. I'm on him under. I know you got a lacrosse play. What lacrosse play should we be looking at?
Yeah, this one and guys, yes, I work behind the scenes here, obviously, but I work with Andy. I'm his lacrosse guy. I got all my lacrosse get up here. And you're wondering, where can you bet on lacrosse? FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, all of them have it. You know, my local book has it. So it's accessible if you want to find it out there. And I think that there's a great play that you should be looking at tonight, and that's Siena getting the 3.5 against Albany. Now, I know you don't want to hear me break down the entire game, but for those of you who do want to know how we arrive at some of these plays, I'm just not sure how the odds makers ended up with 3.5 here. Like, yes, the game is being played at Albany, but it's not like there's any travel to speak of, right? This is right in Siena's backyard. This used to be a rivalry game when these teams played in the same conference. They haven't played since 2022. And sure, maybe you want to look at historical data. Albany has owned this matchup, but they're only coming in with a 9-8 record. 9 of those wins came against subpar opponents. Anytime they had someone they were playing at the same level or above them, they failed. You know, their best win was a win against Yale, who was in a clear down year, ended up 5-8 on the season. So I just think major recency bias here. So Siena, again, you can find it at the big 3 sports books, getting the 3.5. And Andy, you know, if I like a dog, I like them to be sprinkled on the money line. You and I have cashed in on plus 9.5 dogs together. So Siena, I think, is a live dog tonight. The game goes at 7, so you have time to get on it. That money line, you're looking at around a plus, 290. So maybe, 0.75 units, looking at Siena and sprinkle that, quarter of a unit on that money line at plus 290. That's how I'm going to be betting it. And I'm going to wait. I'm going to give the folks some time to bet it, and then Andy and I will put the play in, because when we put the play in, it's not going to be 3.5, and it ain't going to be 290 anymore. So
get the play in. There's not going to be a lot of volume on the Siena Albany game. So when we put it in for clients, it gets hit, and it's probably 90% of the bets that come in on that game are coming from us and from clients.
Yeah,
so we will wait.
That's very true here.
We are going to wait to put it in.
Everybody loves the cute animals, Andy. So we'll get on the way out. The dog saying hello. Here's Winnie. Here's Winnie checking in. She says, bet Siena tonight, right, Winnie? Tell the folks goodbye.
Love it. The fact that dog has a social media account with that many followers is still mind-blowing. All right, guys.
Thanks
so
great
much.
Work.
Another great show. Thank you, Dan. Remember, take advantage of the flex picks by 7 days, and you get 4 days for free added on. You can take advantage of every handicapper. You can lock in as many 5% plays as you can. It's $108 value. And if you're interested in 30 days of my plays, use the promo code Andy30. Again, you give us 30 days. Pretty sure we're going to be ahead. 15 out of the last 18 months, we've been ahead for clients. So thanks, everybody. We're going to do it again tomorrow. The fresh new set of guests, fresh new set of games. Remember, bet smart. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Thanks.